Hello, the Pokemon fan 1993 here. So today we're doing something a bit different. But before I begin, I want to let everyone know this is a personal opinion. So if you don't like personal opinions, then you probably shouldn't be watching the video in the first place. But today we're going to be talking about Pokemon in general. We're going to talk about Pokemon Unite, Pokemon Masters EX, Pokemon Go, and Pokemon Gen 9 or Scarlet and Violet, if you prefer to put it that way. So we're going to start with the least one I have the least amount of stuff to talk with. That is Pokemon Unite. So cosmetics. From what I remember of Pokemon Unite, I still play it, is that it was like if you want to get certain outfits for characters or for Pokemon, at least for the Pokemon, you have to pay in game money, which is the last time I remember them talking about it was like $20 for a skin. Now the skin in the game gives you no stat boosts, gives you no health advantage or anything. It just makes your attacks, your movement, and your scoring look slightly different. To me, that's really not worth it. And then the other thing about that is the Pokemon costumes themselves. It seems like they're very selective of what Pokemon they prefer to get the outfits to. For example, if I remember this right, there was a point in time where Charizard had like 7 or 8 different cosmetic skins, and like I think it was like Azumarill had two. There's so many examples of that going on that it's actually hard just to pin a couple of them down into one location, or one spot. But it seems like it just happens with a lot of Pokemon. For example, I think Garchomp has like 6 skins currently, and then Glaceon has like 2 or 3. To me, seems like they should be making them equally to make sure that no one, you know what I mean. So it doesn't look like they're trying to play favoritism on certain Pokemon. But anyway, that's it for Pokemon Unite. Next, we're talking about Pokemon Masters EX. Okay, this is a game that I played and the game that I occasionally put money into. Now, when I say occasionally, it's usually during once a month. I pay like a hundred gems to get the for, get the really cheap pulls. Then once a year during the anniversary, which usually has a bunch of gems given out and a bunch of rare Pokemon being given as sync pairs. So the first thing we're talking about is the EX gem count, or is it the gem count? So the gem count itself has decreased over the years, at least according to what everyone else keeps saying. And this is a word you're also going to hear a lot of. It's called the word's called inflation. Um, Basically, what that means is as other stuff goes up, including everything that's paid for, like for example, rent will go up, food stamps will go up, everything else goes up with it. So therefore, um, I think the inflation is affecting a lot of the Pokemon games, including Pokemon Masters, because that's why they're affecting. That's why it seems like we're getting less and less gems, and a lot more. We're getting a lot more stuff where they're telling us to buy gems instead of giving them to us for free, or we have to do some kind of weird event in order to get the gems themselves, which personally I see no problem with because Masters, unlike a lot of other games, mobile games, you don't have to put any money in to get thing, and you can beat the game in almost every event that I've seen with free to play units, which basically means that you don't have to pay any gems to get them. You just get them by doing the story or doing special events. And then we're gonna talk about the units as well. Is the units are there's a lot of them, and for example, I'm gonna make a ratio here. For example, imagine getting 3,000 gems, which is enough to pull a 111 times banners, but having 3 banners. The banners last for a month, but you only get about 3 or 4 attempts total to get them. Considering that a Master Fair banner, which has the low 1% chance of happening, and then the featured pair getting 2%, that's not enough gems. So to be honest with you, like I said, same thing with the gems is just the inflation. It's just causing all the problems in Pokemon Masters. Um, because they got to make money off of it. Okay, and then nice. This is a nice segment. We're going from Masters to Pokemon Go. All right, so this is the one I have the most issues with. It's not with the way they did it in general. I have a little bit of a problem with it, but nothing. I have more problem with the community reacting to what they've done. So first, we're going to talk about the remote passes. All right. So same thing with the gems from Pokemon Masters. Inflation. So I'm not going to say the person's name, but there is a certain someone who is causing the inflation. It's happening with a lot of neat stuff, like it's happening with food, gas, cost of living, a couple other ones. And basically, what that means is that, well, if if it takes more money to make resources for Pokemon Go, that means that they're going to raise the price of something. So the one that been the most noticeable so far has been the remote pass. They hiked it from 100 Pokecoins to 195 Pokecoins. So for everyone doesn't know, about one Pokecoin equals 1 cent. So instead of having to spend $1 for a remote pass, If you want to buy a single one, it will cost you almost $2 or 200 Pokecoins, which you can get end game. So that's again, that's inflation. It's increasing it. And then there was a post a few weeks ago that I saw about how they were raising the dollar amount of Pokecoins. For example, you get if you buy Pokecoins in the game, 99 cents, get 99 cents plus in my where I'm at gives you like an extra 9 cents for tax. We'll buy you 100 Pokecoins. Apparently, some other places they're raising the rate up until to like 125 or 150 for 100 Pokecoins. It's only affecting the 100 Pokecoins. To be honest with you, unless you need a last little boost to your coins, you really don't need to buy the 99 thing one. Considering the remote passes are 3 for 525, which a lot of people is the only thing they buy in game, you can just buy the 499 550 Pokecoins, and you'd have more than enough coins to buy 3 remote passes. And then the other thing is, that actually covers both of them because I was talking about remote pass inflation back to back. All right, now here comes the bit of a juicy one. We're talking about Gen 9. So during the 2023 Pokemon World Tournament, there were several people who got banned from the event for using Gen Pokemon. For those who don't know what Gen means, Gen basically means, well, they took data. They're like, okay, I want this on this Pokemon, and they put it in a machine. Bam, it throws out data for a Pokemon and gives it right to you. So previously, about 2 or 3 years ago, when Jenning really became really popular, people were going to say, oh, they're never going to catch Jenning. They're never going to be able to tell the difference. Well, now they have a new way to detect Jenning, and the people who got caught with Gen Pokemon, whether it was 1, 2, or the entire party, got kicked from the event. All right? So I don't think they should have got kicked. I think they should have got a warning, and then they should have been able to swap their Pokemon out. The only problem with this, what I really have with it is, well, if you have a legendary Pokemon or a mythical Pokemon, you use it in a tournament, there is a very high chance that Pokemon is genned because you can't breed legendaries. Therefore, the only way to make a viable Pokemon of that is to make a gen one. So, from my understanding, someone went with a water Urshifu and it was genned, and that's why they got kicked. Well, they shouldn't have got kicked. They should have got a warning that they should have been able to swap out the Pokemon. And on top of which ones they did, I don't know if they said this or not. They should, if the detective system tossed it. One sec, guys. That's our mailman. Our dog's barking. Both of you, stop it.
I know we had an escape today.
Bella, come here. Bella.
Christ.
Have a good one.
Sorry about that. Our mailman comes through, and our dogs likes to antagonize the small one, they antagonize the bigger one, and then they both go crazy. Burger! Stop. I apologize for that. So anyways, I was saying is that the Jenning bot should have been able to tell, or whatever was detecting the Gen Pokemon, should have been able to tell you what Pokemon were doing it. Now, if they had 1 or 2 Gen Pokemon, alright, you can give them a warning, tell them which one it is. Burger! You were pushing my buttons today, bud. Apologize if you heard that. That dog does not know when to stop barking when someone comes to the door.
5 minutes.
I know.
Okay.
Anyway, it should have been able to tell you what Pokemon there were. If there was 1 or 2 Gen Pokemon, there should have been like a way to tell you which Pokemon it is. If it was more than 2, I can understand them maybe banning it for making a whole Gen team because they wanted to get out of the way. But to be honest with you, if you're gonna bring a Pokemon, to an event, to a tournament, and you've never used the Pokemon before, and it's not a legendary, I very highly recommend breeding it. Whether it's a shiny or not, you want to make sure that you're able to enter the tournament, because I got a feeling for all future world tournaments, and that tool they used to tell what it was in there, it will be released, that means no one's going to be able to use Gen Pokemon. So I personally have never, I've had an issue with Gen Pokemon just because of, it seems like you don't put any effort in. For example, like this is gonna be controversial shit. If you're not gonna put in the proper time to make at least a 6-man team to enter a tournament, a major tournament, and then you get caught with Jenning, you kind of deserved it. Like, is it really that hard? If you want to enter a big tournament, you got to put some effort in. You can't just be like, okay, well I'm gonna do this, and then I'm just gonna battle, and that's gonna be the end of it. That's not, to me, that's laziness. Like, if you have enough time to do this tournament, you have enough time to set up all your strays and everything, you should have enough time to make your own Pokemon. Or create your own Pokemon. Alright, last thing is the DLC controversy. So, people are already saying that the Sword and Shield DLC is better than the Scarlet and Violet DLC. And I'm saying, well, no shit, we've had one half of the Scarlet and Violet DLC, the Teal Mask, and we've had both of the Sword and Shield. So, yeah. And then the other issue I had, a lot of people were complaining about, was the frame rate was even worse in this region. So I had two instances where this happened for me. One instance where I was looking at like grass and the grass was moving and I had like toward a field and the frame rate slowed down. The other one, there is a mini game in the Teal Mask DLC where you go in there and you pop balloons and you get the berries and you bring them back. Because of the way the game handles it, if you see all that at once, it lags there as well. So like I said, that's all I want to really talk about. I don't do this very often because I'm not good at like talking, because I'll stumble over my words because of my ADHD. But anyway, that's going to do it for the video. Thank everyone for watching. This is the Pokemon Fan 1993 signing off. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.